Hello, I'm Joseph Graff, and today I would like to talk to you about the urban planning and design of cities in ancient Rome using the perspective of the famous Roman architect and civil engineer known as Vitruvius. For as long as humanity has been building cities, there has always been a need for the proper planning of infrastructure to meet the needs of the people. However, ancient Rome showed that once a society was able to comfortably support the needs of the people, they would start to pursue the other aspects of life such as beauty, entertainment, and organization. Ideas which are now prevalent all over the modern world. Fulfilling these required the talents and skills of ancient Roman architects, designers, and urban planners to turn the infrastructure that was once purely functional to simultaneously functional and aesthetically pleasing, a challenge all modern architects, landscape architects, and urban designers face today. In this video, I will be discussing books 1 and 5 of Vitruvius' 10 books on architecture, where in the former, Vitruvius talks about the basics and overall foundations of Roman architecture, and in the latter, the design of public spaces and buildings, while intermixing examples of such structures that still exist today. Vitruvius presents two main ideas in the first book, the first being the fundamental skills of an architect. First, he states that a Roman architect must be well versed in language, draftsmanship, geometry, arithmetic, history, philosophy, music, medicine, laws, and astronomy. Vitruvius is essentially saying that understanding these elements and applying them is the fundamental skill of an architect. For comparison, modern architecture requires a deep understanding in design, geometry, and the environment, while only requiring a decent understanding of arithmetic, history, and laws. In the latter part of this book, Vitruvius talks about the ideal types of settlement patterns and layout designs for a Roman city. For a quick summation, Vitruvius says that new settlements should be located for the betterment and health of its residents, taking into consideration the weather, climate, sunlight, and defense capabilities, and that the cities should be laid out accordingly. This is all to cleverly create what we today call a microclimate in the city streets and the surrounding buildings. Roman cities were planned out, at least in Vitruvius' time, so that the street environment would be in a sort of Goldilocks zone of conditions, resulting in a mostly comfortable and healthy streetscape environment. This comfortable environment would then naturally push into the surrounding buildings and other areas on the street, making them more comfortable to be inside as well. Now, of course, this would not be a video about urban planning and design without discussing public spaces. Public spaces such as parks, plazas, shopping centers, and the like are important to the residents of a city for entertainment, social, and cultural value. Arguably, the most famous type of Roman public space is the Forum, essentially a central hub to any Roman city. While Roman forums were primarily designed around gladiator games, they would also serve as a hub for commerce, worship, and administration. Local shops and money exchanges would be found beneath porticos, an architectural structure that acts like an outdoor extension to the building. A basilica for worship and the necessary administration buildings, such as treasuries, jails, and the Senate House, would also be constructed on the grounds of the Forum. The Stadium of Domitian, inaugurated in 86 CE, is an interesting example of a Roman public space that still survives to this day. While a Roman stadium was designed solely focusing on the games themselves, differently than a Roman forum, it's the modern state of the structure that lends itself more to urban design. Currently, the stadium has been completely adapted to a more civic purpose, where the interior track is now an open public square and temporary market area, and the stands for the audience have now been completely turned into residential and commercial buildings. Another common type of public space found in ancient Rome was the outdoor theater, where they serve a similar purpose to modern-day indoor theaters, amphitheaters, and auditoriums. Vitruvius talks extensively on how these theaters should be designed around the harmonics required for the enjoyment and comfort of the audience. Since the Romans lacked the accessibility to noise-dampening solutions, they of course had to go about the redirection of sound with clever design and engineering of the structure. A surviving example of such a structure is the Theatre of Marcellus, finished in 11 CE, where the usage of dimensional stone made from tuff and travertine, concrete made from volcanic aggregates, and the semicircular design all lended itself well to the reflecting and focusing of sound from the stage area. Ancient Rome, much like the modern world, was able to comfortably support the needs of the average citizen living in their cities for much of its existence. As such, they pursued the other sides of life, such as beauty, entertainment, and aesthetic organization. No more was this the case than during the time of Vitruvius, the famous architect and engineer that guided both Caesar and Augustus as they sought to improve the urban environment of the city of Rome and others like it, to better suit the wants and needs of the people. Thanks for watching, and at least in the time of the making of this video, have a wonderful holiday season.